Spray. That's right.
My lord,
From
yes.
the washroom. That's way over.
Probably for the record, senior counsel.
It's okay. You know when you
Katanga has also joined us. Okay. Somebody will proceed to exhibit number 10.
I know the next exhibit is marked K. This was described as a vehicle swap from Akwenza Patricia.
what?
Marked K. Vehicle swap from Akwenza Patricia.
You
Mouth swap.
will swap.
Bakachiha.
You will swap from
Akwenza Patricia.
Bakaliha Kakweza Patricia. Okay.
Next is exhibit marked D7.
What was that?
B what?
D7.
D.
D7.
D7. D.
Check.
Yes, done.
I check out the short.
Check out the options.
Ekindi bakacha
Recovered from Katanga Henry's body during postmortem.
D7 bakachi na nempale ey'omugenzi abeerajwire.
Next is exhibit marked D8.
Ekindi nakaddamu nana. What was that?
This is a pair of shorts.
N'empale engufu.
Here they describe it as a yellow, light blue, black, pink, green striped pair of shorts.
Explain with us. Repeat.
A yellow, light blue, comma, black,
Ekeri n'amabala
comma, pink,
ga yellow, light blue, black and pink
comma, green striped
na green.
striped pair of shorts
Ekeri empale engufu.
They are shorts.
containing suspected blood
Ekeri nebweshagama
recovered from the deceased during postmortem.
eyabeereetebataho kubeka eyarugire ha mugenzi.
Next is exhibit marked D9.
Endijo ne exhibit da mwenda.
White bed sheet
Eshuka zirikwera.
with suspected blood stains
Kazi neweshagama
recovered from the deceased
yabeereetebataho kuba yarugire ha mugenzi
master bedroom
omu kishengye kyabo.
at the crime scene.
Ahi baabire nibaraara ahi yafa eri.
After the crime scene.
Next is D10.
Ekindi nekya akakyaddamu 10.
A suspected blood stained bandage
Eshagama eyabeeteekateekwa.
on gauze
Hold on. Next is the suspected blood stain.
bandage on gauze
Goes.
recovered from the deceased during postmortem.
Eshagama eriba kushangira ha plaster ekuteekateeka okubeera ey'omugenzi.
Yes. Next, my lord, is exhibit marked 4.
4.
Exhibit A.
Ekindi bakaca enamba ya kane.
ZASTA was
VA, Zastava. Arms, pistol.
Ekindi
Pistol.
n'embunda ei barakweta za staba.
arm.
Yes, arms, pistol. Serial number UG
Enamba ekaba eri UG
16
16
222
222
000
000
61.
mukaaga emu.
Then they added on CZ.
Hariho
Who
na
added on?
I can see it's written here. I'm reading the verbatim.
Okay, added on.
The
CZ.
CZ 99
hariho n'endijo
compact.
99 compact.
Recovered room at the crime scene.
Nayo bakashanga omu kishengye ekibakuraramu aho omugenzi yaferire.
Exhibit mark 9.
Hold on.
Exhibit endijo ni 9.
It's marked 9.
Mark 9. This is a blood swab from the bathroom of the master bedroom at the crime scene.
Neshagama ei bashangire omu kinaabiro ky'ekishengye ekikurarwamu Madam Bore n'omugenzi ekibabire bararamu aho omugenzi yaferire.
Exhibit marked 14. Described as blood swab
Ekindi bakaca enamba ya 14 nayo neshagama
from the door handle
ei bashangire aha muryango
of the bedroom
aha mugere kwigura omuryango ogw'ekishengye
opposite the master bedroom
ekirabire kireba omu kishengye ekibakuraramu
at the crime scene.
aho omugenzi yaferire.
My lord, next is exhibit marked 15.
Ekindi bakaca enamba ya 15
This is described as a blood swab
neshagama
from the toilet inside the bedroom
ei bashangire omu kabuyonjo omu kishengye
opposite the master bedroom
ekirikureba omu kishengye eky'omugenzi na Madam Bore ahi bakurara
the crime scene.
aho omugenzi yaferire.
What avenue? Opposite. The bedroom. The master bedroom. That is all.
Ekirikureba omu kishengye eki Madam Bore akurara.
And what?
At the crime scene.
They need to mention it in the name. Yes, please. Yeah. You don't mention it in the name, that is not mentioned. You will be misleading. That man will interpret it.
Next, my lord, is exhibit mark 16.
Ekindi ne exhibit 16.
This is a blood swab from the wall
neshagama aha kishengye nashaha bishengye
to the changing and bathrooms
ayibashangire omushenge ahi bakuhindurira n'omukinabiro
inside the master bedroom.
omushenge ekihango.
Next is exhibit mark 17.
Ekindi bakakyenamba 17.
This is a blood swab
Neshagama
from the door frame
eyibashangire aha minyoro y'orwigi
inside the changing
omu kishengye ahi bakuhindurira
and bathroom
n'ahu bakunabira
of the crime scene.
aho omugenzi yaferire.
Next is exhibit marked 17-1.
Ekindi bakakiha enamba 17 emwe.
This is blood scraped as blood scrapings. Scrapings
Neshagama
from the door frame
kuruga aha ngi
of the washroom at the crime scene.
eza toilet aho omugenzi yaferire.
Next, my lord, is exhibit marked M5.
Ekindi bakakyenamba M5
Described as a white dress with decorated yellow,
kirimu amabara ga yellow,
black and red flowers
yellow agakwiragura hamwe n'abakutukura.
all over, recovered from Katanga at the hospital.
Bakakiha aha madamu Katanga omwirwaro.
Next is exhibit marked M6.
Ekindi bakakiha exhibit M6
A light, described as a light grey bed sheet
ezi n'eshuuka za light grey
with printed words. A light grey bed sheet with printed words.
kaziineho ebigambo
IHK radiology,
biriho IHK radiology.
recovered from Katanga at the hospital.
Bakaziha aha madamu Katanga omwirwaro.
Next, my lord, is exhibit marked M7.
Ekindi bakakyenamba M7
Described as a pink bed cover
ezi n'eshuuka za pink
with white strips
ziinemu amabara gakwera ziinemu amabara gakwera
running horizontally with wording stroke writing
ziinemu ebigambo bihandikirwe
Bugorobi Medical Center,
ebyabire bihandikirwe bikweta Bugorobi Medical Center.
recovered from Katanga at the hospital.
Bakaziha aha madamu Katanga omwirwaro.
Medical Center. Recovered from Katanga at the hospital. Finally, exhibit marked B6.
Endijo bakakiha exhibit this mukaaga
with white, green, brown, light blue striped bed cover.
Peri bed cover ine mabara ga pink, white, green, straight blue. Bed cover.
Having suspected blood stains.
Ine hoshagama tekwa.
Recovered while found, used to cover Katanga Henry's body.
Ekashangwa ekane ekozesibwe kushweka omutumbi wa omujenzi Henry Katanga.
At the crime scene inside the master.
Omushenje ahi yaferi.
My God, these are the exhibits received on the 3rd of November 2023.
You received this?
These were received on the 3rd of November 2023.
Katunga ebiro bishatse ku 11 abinesha.
What was the request?
But the request was to examine above exhibits
Akantu banshaba nkujeberere byone tunaga
for DNA traces
kureba kutunga DNA yeshagamo yabyo
and ascertain whether the DNA traces on and 9, the next one is 9.
Amwena
14,
ni 14
15,
15
15, 16,
16
and 7 of the traces on the exhibit marked 4. And then the third question was compare whether the DNA on the exhibits with the DNA traces on the exhibits marked.
Compare whether the
DNA on the exhibits with the DNA traces on the exhibits marked D1, M4, K, and ND.
K and ND. MD.
N
ND.
and D. And number 4 was carry out any other relevant forensic examination that can assist in the investigations.
bakanshaba nzomisho ndonde nebindi ebintu byakubasa kukuyamba omumisho kurondora mushangu.
Those are the questions which are detailed in this Form 17. Number 4, question 4 was carry out any other relevant examination that can assist in the investigation.
Any other
Relevant forensic examination that can assist in the investigation.
What date was that received at the lab?
My Lord, this is a set of exhibits received on the 6th of November 2023.
Ebintu nkabitunga ebiro 6 okwi 11 20 abinesha.
This is a set.
Yes, ma'am.
What is this?
received on the 6th of November 2023. First exhibit is marked 4-3.
ekikubanza nga kyenamba ina dash eshatu.
And what was that?
This is a swap from the trigger of the pistol gun UG 16 222 000 61.
N'ebintu ebyagire omumbunda gye yagamba enamba yayo.
CZ 99 compact.
Compact. Second.
Second is exhibit mark 22-1.
Ekindi nga kyenamba exhibit 22-1
What was that?
Balcony of the master bedroom.
eza
Next.
Next by road is exhibit marked 19.
ekindi nga kyenamba 19.
This is a wooden but on wooden handle
kakiine ekiti
recovered from the washroom.
kikashangwa omu kinaabiro.
Raga. Describe that. Repeat
Can you
that.
repeat that for my Lord?
Mopping rag attached on wooden handle recovered from the washroom.
Yes.
Another exhibit was marked D3,
Ekindi nga kyenamba D3
comma, and also a comma D4.
na D4 nashidiina.
These were described as swabs. Swabs recovered during postmortem.
Ebyekukatunga tukabenzikebera omugenzi.
Yes.
Next is exhibit marked 5-1.
What was that?
This was described as one projectile
Ekindi nga kyenamba 5-1
recovered from the bed.
5-1.
5-1.
Project.
One projectile recovered. One projectile recovered from the bed of the deceased at the crime scene.
n'ekishoshonkore ky'isasi ekyashangirwe omu kishengye aho omugenzi yaferire.
Next is exhibit marked 4-2.
4-2. What was that?
I know this was described as live ammunition found in the bullet chamber.
Ekyo n'isasi eryashangirwe
Where was it from?
That is the description. Next is exhibit marked 5.
ekindi nga kyenamba 5.
What was that?
One suspected pistol live ammunition
egyo keri embunda enkye ei twashangire
recovered on the deceased bed.
kakishanga aha kitanda ky'omugenzi.
And next, I will exhibit mark 7. Is described as a cartridge casing bed sheet at the crime scene.
You come on. On the
A
bed.
bed sheet at the crime scene.
Ekyo n'ekishongole ky'isasi ekyashangirwe ahashuka omu kishengye ky'omugenzi ahi yafaire.
And we have exhibit marked 4-1. Described as a pistol magazine
n'ekicweka ky'egundu ekikubika amasasi
with 10 live ammunitions
kikaba kiine amasasi 10
removed from the pistol.
agamasasi gakagiyirwe omu ngundu egyo egi.
I wrote this at the set of exhibits received on the 6th of November 2023.
Byona nkatunga ebiro 6 11/2023.
What was the request for?
I wrote the request was to examine and ascertain whether there is DNA on exhibits submitted.
Abakambi banshaba mukebere byaba biine akakwate.
Next was to compare,
Ascertain whether there is DNA.
examine and ascertain whether there is DNA on exhibits submitted.
Uh-huh.
Next is compare the DNA on exhibits with DNA on D-1, comma, D-2, comma, M4, comma, K, and ND.
MD. Any.
ND. And the final one was carry out any analysis that may help in the investigations.
Abakambi banshaba nze omu maisho nitegereze ebintu byona nshemu ekikubaasa kuyamba okuza omu maisho n'okurondora aha nshango.
When did you receive?
I wrote this is a set of exhibits received on the 9th of November 2023.
Ebingi ekipapuro ekindi kiriho ebintu ebinatungire ebiro by'okwezi 9 2023.
On the 9th
November 2023.
Exhibits?
I wrote the first exhibit is marked 2.
Ekintu ekikubanza kinatungire nka kyenamba 2.
That is described as a swab obtained on the floor. Swab obtained on the floor
Nshagama eitwegere aha cement nashaha
near the eastern door to the master bedroom.
haihi n'orwigi orwa master bedroom orw'ekishengye kyamu.
The next set of exhibits was marked A to F.
Ekindi nka kyenamba A kutya ahari F.
These were described as suspected blood swabs
Neshagama eyabeereze bateekwa
from the western wall
kuruga eri aha kishengye
of the wardrobe
ekiri haihi na wardrobe
in the
y'ebintu
master bedroom
omu kishengye ekyangu
near the door
haihi n'orwigi
leading to the washroom.
orwigi orukureeba ahaife.
Next is exhibit marked P.
Ekindi ni ekitwahire T.
P.
P, what was that?
This was a swab obtained from the southern wall
Egi n'eshagama eitwihire aha kishengye ekikureeba haife
of the master bedroom
omu kishengye kihango
near the southern door.
haihi n'orwigi orukureeba haife.
Near?
Near the southern door. And what next is exhibit marked Q.
Ekindi tukakyenanga Q.
This was described as a swab
Egi n'eshagama
obtained on top of near the southern door
haihi n'omuryango gwa haife
of the master bedroom.
omu kishengye kihango.
Near the southern door. The master bedroom.
Yes, my lord.
Master bedroom.
Master bedroom. Next is exhibit marked AA.
Ekindi tukakiha AA.
This was described as a swab from the handle
N'eshagama eitwihire aha kukwata
of glass water jar
aha mukono gwa jaga ey'amaizi
on the master bedroom side drawer.
Yeah, yeah.
Jar, Jar, on the master bed side drawer.
ei twashangire omu kishengye aha kabati.
Next is exhibit marked AB.
A,
AB.
B,
Ekindi ne
Ba,
tukakiha
Bam.
Exhibit marked AB.
ba.
This was a swab from the outer surface
Egi n'eshagama
Outer
surface
surface.
of the glass cup
ei twashangire
Glass cup.
of the glass cup
Cup.
ei twashangire aha kikopo eky'egiraasi
on the master bed side drawer.
eki twashangire ahaiguru y'akakabada nashi y'akameeza twashangire omu kishengye kihango.
Next is exhibit marked AC.
Ekindi tukakiha enamba AC.
This was described as suspected brain matter. Suspected brain matter from the net, in brackets, mosquito net.
kandi muteekateeka kuba ebintu ebyagira omu bwongo ei twashangire aha katimba k'ensiri akabiri kari omu kishengye.
I know these are the exhibits received on the 9th of November 2023.
Ebi byona tukabitunga ebiro by'okwezi mwenda ekumi na kumwe 2023.
What was the request?
My Lord, the request was to examine and ascertain whether there is DNA on exhibits submitted.
Ebi byona abantu banshaba nkyebere eshagama na yani ekwatana n'eshagama y'ebintu ebibaare.
Next was to compare the DNA on exhibits with DNA on D-1, comma,
Compare the exhibits.
with the DNA on D-1, comma, D-2, M4,
four, yes.
K, and NB. And the next was to carry out any analysis that may help in the investigations.
bakandi bashaba nkibereshaga mejo mbase kuba ni establishment yale basa kuyamba kurondora amushango.
You receive for the document I have handed you.
You handed him another one.
Yes, ma'am.
My Lord, this is Police Form 17A with a set of exhibits received on the 10th of November 2023.
This is what? This,
Form 17A with a set of exhibits received on the 10th of November 2023.
Uniform ya polisi eriho ebintu ebinatungire ebiro by'okwezi 10 11 2023.
What exhibits? What exhibits did you receive on the 10th of November?
My Lord, the first exhibit was marked CI-1.
Ekyokubanza nka kyenamba CI-1.
was marked CI.
-1.
What was that exhibit?
My Lord, this was described as a swab of suspected blood stains
Egyo nekyagamba yabeteekateekwa
from the concrete ceiling near the light bulb
ekeri aha omusiringi y'ekishengye haihi na barubu nasho etaara
at the seat of crime.
omu kishengye aho omugyezi yafeeriire.
Right?
At the seat of crime.
Seat,
Yes, ma'am.
not seal. A seat.
A swab of suspected blood stains from the concrete ceiling near the light brackets bulb at the seat of crime.
The seat, C what?
S-E-A-T.
S-E-A-T. Seat of rain.
Next one was marked CI-2.
Ekindi nka kyenamba CI-2.
And what was that?
This was described as a swab of suspected blood stains
Egyo ekeri eshagamba nayo yabireteekateekwa
from the concrete ceiling
kuva omusiringi
on the southern wing.
ekeri omusiringi omu kicweka kyahaife
On the
Southern wing.
Okay.
Next, my Lord, is exhibit marked NB.
ekindi nka kyenamba emba
This was described as a swab of suspected blood stains
ekyo
on the leg side of the bed frame. If the blood streams on the leg side of the bed frame, in brackets, outer surface.
Okay.
Next is exhibit marked 24-1. This was described as a T-shaped copper-like adjustable walking stick. Recovered from the southeastern corner eastern corner of the seat of crime. Seat of crime. Then, and 106 centimeter wooden sticks. Recovered from the southeastern corner at the seat of crime. Seat of crime. My Lord, I can see the request is the same as and ascertain, examine exhibits with DNA on D-1, D-2,
Sorry, my Lord, I just wanted to correct the reading for that. What we seem to have as KCD, not K and ND.
There's no C. It's K and ND. Well, compare the DNA on the instruments, the DNA on D1, D-1, D-2, M4, K and ND. Is that CD?
My Lord, it seems to say CD.
Which one?
It's the second. Look at this second.
And the ND.
Seems to say CD, my Lord, not I. It's the witness. But it's not the other.
K.
That's how we answer. Let him read what's there. No. You can't read what he understood. SCD.
KCD.
Yes, that's what we have. KCD, ND. Much obliged, my Lord.
What I tell you to photograph that one again at home. How will be looking at?
Okay.
So it is what? Sir, can you look at it again? What is it?
Looking at the,
What
because
they are wrong about?
The request was to compare the okay, C, D, and ND. That's where.
it appears K, it is handwriting, but if I compare with his previous request, it was consistent. But here it appears to be K, C, D, and D. That's how it appears. Yes.
To be C,
D, and D, full stop. That is what it appears.
and D. C, D, and D.
How,
Ah.
yeah. How do you understand that?
My Lord, as I run through these documents,
You say it appears to be, you've noted that, huh?
yes, my Lord, it appears to be KCD. And the last request was carried out in the
It
analysis.
appears to be C, D,
And D,
yes, B, C, D,
and D.
and
Yes.
Okay. Okay, now let's continue.
Carry out any other analysis that
May help in the investigation. Carry out any analysis that may help in the investigation. My Lord, before me is a police form 17A.
That's another.
Another one, my Lord.
Have we just received it or you received it?
No, she has just handed it over to me, my Lord.
endijo yenyene erifo ekine kiteetera ekine amabara mengi munonga
Free dress,
nekiteetera ekine amabara mengi munonga
kitenje,
nekyo kitengi
is spelled as KITENGE. Recovered
kikashangwa ahaiguru y'ekitanda
in the bedroom
omu kishengye
opposite master bedroom.
ekikureeba omu kishengye kihango
Next is exhibit marked KP.
kepa
Happy years.
Described as maroon dress
eki n'ekiteeteera kya maroon
with yellow and white decoration,
kika kiine amabara aga yellow na white
recovered yellow and white decoration,
kika kiine amabara aga yellow na white
recovered from Kakwanza Patricia.
ekitwahire aha kakwanzi patricia
Kakwa,
Here it's written as Kakwanza.
Kakwanza.
ekitwahire aha kakwanza patricia
And what was also the request there?
My Lord, the request was to examine and ascertain whether there is DNA on exhibits submitted.
nkashabwa kureeba okukyebera ebyo ebintu ebi bampiire yabeshagamereho
Next was to compare the DNA on exhibits with the DNA on on D-1,
nekwatana n'eshagama eyashangirwe ahari
comma,
ebintu by'eyo
D-2, comma, M4, comma, K, and NG. No, I don't know, it's still somebody made.
Okay, and
Me, I don't feel
That's
like
the
this.
sample that is KC.
okay, it appears,
It appears.
it appears as what?
K,
Okay,
small c, a D, and ND.
Smaller D and smaller D also.
Small d, then N, capital D. So it is K, small c, small d, capital N, capital D. That's why it appears here. And then finally, to carry out any analysis that may help in the investigations.
All right. And I want you to look at that. When you receive the last copy I have just handed to you,
I know this is a police form 17A with a set of exhibits received on the 23rd of November 2023.
G ni police form
17A
ni police form namba 15A
with a set of exhibits received on 23rd November 2023.
eriho ebintu ebinatugire ebiro 23 okwi
23rd
11
November 2023. Yes, ma'am.
2023.
The first exhibit was marked J3.
Ekikubanza tukaca enamba J3
Described as a blood swab
Marked J,
egi n'eshagama
blood swab.
on the northern wall near the master bed.
ei twashangire omu aha kishengye ekicweka ky'eruguru omu kishengye ky'ekyanga
Near the master bed.
Yeah.
The next is exhibit marked M.
ekindi tukaca exhibit M
This is a blood, described as a blood swab
egi n'eshagama
on the lower part of the wardrobe
eri aha kicweka ky'ahansi aha wardrobe
on the eastern wall of the master bedroom.
aha kishengye ekikureeba
Next by road is exhibit marked R.
ekindi tukaca enamba R
yes,
This is described as a blood swab
nayo n'eshagama
from the southern wall
ei twashangire aha kishengye okukicweka omu kishuuma
near southeastern corner
haihi n'omu kashonda akahiife
of the master bedroom.
omu kishengye kihango
Next by road is exhibit marked T.
ekindi tukaca enamba T
what was that?
This is described as a blood swab
nayo n'eshagama
from the western wall
okuruga aha kishengye ekikureeba omu westi
of the master bedroom.
omu kishengye kihango
Finally, we have exhibit marked Z.
ekindi tukaca enamba Z nashisa
This is a blood swab
nayo n'eshagama
on the floor
ei twashangira ahansi
near the door entry
haihi n'omuryango ogukushora
to the balcony. Lord, these are the exhibits which were received on the 23rd of November 2023.
What was the request on that day?
The request, my Lord, was to ascertain whether November 2023.
ebyo tukabitunga ebyo byokwezi 23 okwe 11/2023.
Exhibits J3, M, R, T, and Z have DNA.
Abantu banshaba yako kureba yaba eshagama eryahabitse binagamba higuru.
Next, my Lord, was compare whether the DNA in exhibits J3, M, R, T, and Z matches with the control samples earlier on submitted
Nikwatana hamwe na neshagama eyebintu ebindi ebyabiri.
via DFS / DNA DFS / DNA / 682/20. I know this copy here in 2023. Then finally perform any other necessary examinations.
So after receiving all these exhibits, as an examiner, what happens next?
And upon receipt of exhibits are transmitted to the laboratory
Kukutunga ebintu ebi bitwarwa mu kicweka kya laboratory
after a case officer has been assigned.
Jaheza kwebwa polisi okuza kutwala police officer okuza kutwala
After
A case examiner
the case examiner
has been assigned.
Jaheza kwebwa omuntu okuza kuchebera akatwala.
How is the case assigned?
And what the case examiner is assigned by the head of department
Omuntu okuza kuchebera ebintu ebyo natoranwa omuntu okubakura nasho okukura ekicweka ekyo.
head of department.
Yes, my lord.
And which department are we referring to here?
This case was under the Department of Chemical, Biological, Radiological, Chemical, Biological, Radioactive, Radiological, sorry my lord, Radiological,
Yes.
Nuclear, and Explosives Analysis.
Ekicweka nakyo department ey'enkugambaho ni department ya chemical,
Explosives what?
biological,
Analysis.
radiological, nuclear and explosive analysis.
So I want you to take us through the steps you underwent or you undergo after the case has been examined, it has been allocated to you as an examiner.
As an examiner, I have a team.
Omuntu okuchebera nyina abantu
I am the lead examiner,
Ninye
supervisor, and
Ninye-
reviewer.
ninye kubakura ninye kubareba
Examiner,
Supervisor and reviewer.
ninye ndi kubakura.
I also have an analyst.
is the lead examiner,
Supervisor and reviewer. I also have an analyst with me.
Nero isho kubakweta analyst.
An analyst. With you,
The technician.
Hamwe n'omukugu.
and the technician.
Hamwe n'omukugu w'ebyoma.
We, my team and I, access these exhibits
Timu hamwe nanye ntutunga ebyo bintu ebitwara nitugambaho ahaiguru
from the forensic gateway
kuga aha forensic gateway.
and these exhibits are accompanied by the police form 17A
Biba biriho na police form 17B
and a chain of custody log.
hamwe na
By police.
chain of custody log. Nashi bikomebwe.
And a chain of custody log. Log.
Log, LOG.
Log.
Okay. What happens thereafter?
Upon receipt of the evidence material, we proceed to examine the evidence.
Tukeza kutunga nituzomaisho n'okukyebera.
One exhibit at a time.
Nitukyebera kimwe aha kindi.
Taking note of our observations
Tukahandika hansi aho ebitwatunga mudashi ebitwareeba.
in light of the descriptions given on the 17A.
Tukwatana n'ebyo bibatuheereza aha police form 17B.
And keeping in mind the examination request.
Tukumanya ekitushemire kwihamu.
In mind,
The examination request.
Ekitushemire kwihamu ekyatushabirwa okukyebera ebintu ebyo.
You know, the examination of the evidential material is not a single day's task.
Kukyebera ebintu ebyo tikutwara izooba rimwe ryonka.
So within the laboratory space, we have temporary storage.
Omu laboratory twinemu akashengye
so
akatubikamu.
within the laboratory what?
Space.
Uh-huh.
We have temporary storage
Akutukubikamu obwire bugufu
where we can access this
You have temporary what?
storage,
Storage.
where we can access the exhibits during the course of examination.
ahe tukuba nitubyiha tutaba nitukyebera.
Take us through the steps that you undertook.
And what in the examination of evidential material for DNA suspected to be either blood or saliva,
Yaba ebyaha bintu ebyo n'eshagama nashi amacantwe
a presumptive test.
tuzomaisho tukyebera.
That presumptive test is only to serve to confirm whether what we are observing is presumptively blood or presumptively saliva
Kikyebe-
or semen.
kikyebera twetegereza yaba twareba amacancu nenshi twareba eshagama
Observing presumptively
kikyebera yaba eri eshagama yaba eri amacancu
where we have observed this thing and we get a sample which we call a specimen.
twihaho ekyo kitwayetegerezaho tukiiha
And this specimen will give you the coded number
ekitwihaho nitukiha enamba
which is characteristic of the case,
give
a unique specimen number or specimen ID.
a unique specimen
Specimen ID.
ID or number.
nitukyeza enamba
This is characteristic, which is also characteristic of the case number. With items where we don't have visible stains,
ebintu ebitakubaasa kutungaho ebintu ebikureebeka gye ebitwashangaho
we take swabs. We take swabs of
Take a swab somewhere.
take swabs of areas
zitwara eshagama erikuruga hanu
that we take swabs of areas where we believe human contact may have occurred.
ahi tukuteekateeka ng'omuntu akwatire nashi akwatirwe
The swabs are also given unique specimen IDs or numbers.
ebyo nituguha enamba yaabyo
Once we are done with this stage,
heza
we proceed to extract pure genomic DNA,
Pure
genomic
G
GENOMIC,
O
pure
G O
GENOMIC,
M
N for November, O MIC, genomic,
M O
MIC, GE,
genomic. Yes,
yes,
yes. That is an obvious thing.
pure genomic DNA,
Genomic DNA.
This is basically to separate the DNA we are interested in from other excipients.
DNA. From
Other excipients.
to be for X what?
Excipient.
E
EXCE, yeah,
P what?
PIENT, yes.
P I E
ENT.
N
Yes.
H P X. Okay.
Because this would interfere with the downstream analysis. The next stage is to quantify the amount of DNA that we have extracted. A stage we call quantitation.
ekitukwataho nituzaha omumaisho tureeba ebituiha obushagama obupima
Structures. It's called
This stage is referred to as quantitation stage.
quantification.
Yes, others call it quantification and others call it quantitation.
Quantification.
Quantification.
Quanti.
quantitation.
Quantitation. Quantitation state. Quantification or quantification state.
Quantify to quantitate, depends on which.
Okay.
What the purpose of quantifying or quantitating the DNA is to identify whether we have inhibition, inhibitors, inhibition, which means that our extraction failed.
Inhibition.
Yes.
Ekituleetera kuba nituleeba obwingi bwa DNA n'okuza omu maisho kweyabayaba ekitwakebera twakitunga naki twakitunga.
The next is to
Just before you go to the next, assuming the quantification failed, what would you do?
we have to repeat the process of identification, visualization, and extraction.
Extraction fails.
If the quantitation at this stage indicates inhibition, we go back to the first stages I mentioned, visual and extraction.
If the extraction fails, sorry, what fails?
Quantification.
Quantification fails.
We have to go back to the exhibit, identify another location.
Tukulema kutunga ekitukwenda nashoka obwingi bwa DNA
On the exhibit,
nitugarukayo aha biriya ebibareetire
if there is any other location of interest,
tukyebera tweyabayaba nitubaasa
Can
kufunga.
we go with what happened? I think let's go. What happened, isn't it?
Yes. So
I go.
for this particular case,
What they help you? You take whatever you want.
kindly now take us to the next stage.
Once we had, I was still explaining why the quantitation. The next is to identify to get the total amount of DNA we have, because
Is to get
the total amount of DNA,
amount of DNA we have.
because this is important,
Tutunga obwingi bwa DNA obutwine
because we have a nominal amount of DNA we can proceed with.
yaba nitubaasa kuba twine DNA ezitubaasa kuza omu maisho nazo
Based on our internal validation studies,
kuruga obu twakora kukyebera.
Based
on our internal validation studies,
okay, sir.
so the next stage, which is called normalization,
It's called
is to bring the DNA, the specimen with the DNA that was above the nominal level,
to bring
the DNA,
the specimens
yes, DNA
with the DNA
that is above the nominal level to the nominal level.
the nominal level.
And also to take a critical decision as to whether the specimens with less than nominal DNA will be able to interpret, to be able to yield interpretable. Specimen with less than nominal DNA will be able to yield interpretable data downstream.
To yield interpretable data. What?
DATA.
Data is.
This is because sometimes you have
Downstream.
downstream processes.
Downstream.
So this stage helps us to make that critical choice. After normalization, we take the specimen for amplification.
Okay, this stage helps us to what? To make a that what?
Critical decision of proceed of proceeding with a particular technique in the amplification of the DNA.
tukeza kushemeresha gava tuzomesha tukitwara ahandi aho turaba basize kugihambuya nashi kugicwa mpango.
So the next one is
Amplification.
amplification. Okay, let's go back slowly to data notice view. Then the stage helps us to make that critical decision of proceeding with a particular technique in the amplification of DNA. Are we okay? Are we together there?
All right.
It seems that after downstream, we have, after normalization, we take a specimen for amplification. I don't know.
That's why I go daily with about isn't it?
Yes, my lord.
So now we are going where? Okay, the next stage is what?
The next stage is amplification.
So when you amplify in this particular case, what happens?
The customary technique we use for amplification called polymerase chain reaction.
What did you call that?
The standard technique for amplifying DNA, which we refer to as polymerase chain reaction, in short PCR.
For amplifying DNA, which is what?
PCR,
PCR. In full,
polymerase chain reaction.
can you spell POP?
Polymerase chain reaction.
Chain reaction.
Yes, my lord.
That is in bracket for PCR.
We utilize in the facility a 23,
We utilize,
utilize a 23 marker short tandem repeat.
tandem
Repeat
repeat,
multiplex assay.
repeat like a,
Repeat. Yes, ma'am. Short
Repeat.
tandem repeat. Multiplex assay.
it's what? Spelling
And assay
assay.
is ASSAY.
Okay, assay.
The commercial name is called Verifier Plus.
Assay is what?
ASSAY.
And then,
The commercial name of this assay is called Verifier Plus.
verify,
EERIFLER plus.
Okay.
F-A-B what?
FLER ILER Verifier. VERI
F,
ILER EER Verifier plus.
So after going through all these steps, what happens?
So what happens during this step, my lord?
spell that word again.
Verifier is VERI FI LER
V-E-R-I-F-I-L-E-R.
plus.
The sign for plus.
No, the word plus.
Plus. Fine.
So when
What is the process, you see?
So during this stage of amplification, that assay is able to amplify the DNA at those 23 locations which we refer to as loci.
It's able to, the is able to
amplify the DNA in the specimen at those 23 positions, or technically called loci. LOCI, which are detected downstream in the next stage. Without this stage, it would be impossible to examine the DNA at those 23 locations.
without this stage, what will happen?
It would not be possible to examine the DNA at those 23 locations. I think the next stage, my lord, is the detection technique or detection stage to detect the DNA.
Detection
Detection is the next stage.
stage.
And at this stage,
What did you do?
this stage is where we bring the samples which have been amplified. Samples which have been amplified to be detected using a technique we call capillary.
Detection, what else did you do?
The data that we get from this technique is what we interpret. Is what we interpret using a hierarchy of propositions. Using a hierarchy of propositions. And this hierarchy of propositions is what enables us to offer our opinion on the evidence, that was submitted for examination.
All right. So after you undertook all these steps, you did
Findings and the interpretation of the data. The findings and the interpretation of the data constitutes the report. That we are able to avail either for investigative purposes or evaluative purposes.
this particular case. What report did you make?
And what in this case, because of the volume of the evidential material and the many requests we are receiving of the evidential material, which was coming in one day after the other,
And the menu what?
evidential material,
No, the volume of the material.
and the many requests coming in one day after the other, or maybe a couple of days after. Coupled with the requests we are receiving from the investigative team. We were able to offer investigative reports. investigative report was issued.
Investigative reports.
An investigative report was issued.
An investigative report.
Yes.
Yes.
This investigative report is issued as we continue with the analysis.
It was issued. So it was issued.
Yes. And by and large, it's preliminary in nature because just giving information to the detectives. As a preliminary,
As what happened?
as we continue with the examination.
And you say that.
You say it is by and large.
By and large, it's preliminary in nature. And its purpose is to guide investigations. Once we are certain that there are no more requests which were being received, we were obliged to issue an evaluative report for court purposes.
We were or we are?
We are obliged
to issue
an evaluative report for court purposes.
Shown that report. You identify
And the evaluative reports that are issued for court purposes are released by the Office of the Director and the evaluative reports for court are released by the Office of the Director
Office of the Director.
yes,
Which director?
Forensic Services. It's the Office of the Director of Forensic Services that releases the reports. After they have undergone requisite administrative checks. And they bear the date on which it was released,
Requisite administrative.
requirements, the date of the release, when the report is released, the date when the authors completed the report,
Not the corporate statement. The date when the report is released.
the date when the report is released, and the date when the examiners or the authors concluded that report. There are hash numbers,
There.
the hash numbers of the examiners.
why you use hash numbers.
You know, the hash numbers are used to maintain the integrity of the examiner. Since reports are issued out in the field, we wouldn't want the examiners to receive a lot of influence from the examiner.
The date when the report is released and the date when the examiner or the authors concluded that report, their hash numbers, sorry, the hash numbers of the examiner Uh-huh.
the hash numbers of the examiners and their signature. So those are the identifying features of that report.
Okay, I asked you why you use the hash number.
Yes, we use what? Hash numbers because
This is primarily for the safety and maintaining integrity of the examiners.
primarily for integrity.
Safety and the integrity of the examiner.
This particular report, what is your hash number?
I wrote my hash number is hash 01.
This hash, that is the same.
Yes, my lord. Same. 2 vertical bars and 2 horizontal bars.
Hash,
01.
I want you to look at this report. And kindly show what the pictures you are talking about.
My lord, this is a report that bears the seal of the Directorate of
what are you saying?
It bears,
This is what?
this is a report.
Which report?
This is a report by the Ginger Road, CRB 1070.
This is a report by
Find Ginger Road, CRB 1070.
Ripoti ya polisi ya Jinja Road ine namba 1070
Stroke 2023.
stroke 2023.
It was released under reference DFS
Eka rekubona shaka korwa rwa ahansi ya reference number
DFS
CS
/192
Hello?
/192 /049 /2024
/1992
released on the 30th of April
ekarekurwa ebiro 30 okwakana
and released 30th of April 2024.
omwaka ogwokutuma
Released to OCCID Ginger Road Police Station.
ekarekurwa OCCID owa Jinja Road.
The releasing officer is Chelengat Sylvia.
Wajumuhire ekaherwa OCCID owa Jinja Road wajumuhira ni Chelengat Sylvia.
Chelangat, C-H-E-L-A-N-G-A-T, yes. Chelangat Sylvia.
Namweta Chelangat Sylvia.
With Y, Sylvia. Who is the acting deputy director of forensic services.
Niwe acting deputy director wa forensic services.
The report which was released is DFS.
Report eyarekwire
I thought you have said that.
Yeah.
My lord, the covering letter
Okay.
is because the release order is under a reference, but the report itself is released. Is
The
the
report
which is released,
which was released.
yes,
Uh-huh.
is DFS
ni ine namba DFS
DNA
DNA
682
mukaaga munani ibiri
2023
makumi abiri n'eshatu
DNA after DNA
slash 682 slash 2023. Titled DNA Analysis Report. Address to
DNA
Analysis Report. Address to OCCID Ginger Road Police Station.
umutwe gwayo nibagita DNA analysis report
addressed to
OCCID Ginger Road Police Station.
bakaca bakandi bakyereza OCCID Owajija Road Police Station.
CRE 1070
Enamba yayo ni
CRB
1070
1070
stroke 2023.
makumi abiri n'eshatu.
What also where your hash number is on this report and where you signed.
My lord, the hash number is on all pages at the bottom, hash 01. And I also signed
Egye namba eyagambira wali ku hash namba 201 eri ha pages
at the bottom, which one?
at the bottom of each page, you will find hash 01.
eri ahansi aha buri page eri hash 0101.
And also you will have on page 36,
Aha page eshatu na mukaaga
you will find my signature
hariho signature ye
and the date when I concluded this report.
n'ebiro by'okwezi ebibaherize mu report egyo.
My lord, I can
Hold on.
My lord, I can confirm that this is the original report.
Egyo niyo original report
Authored by me,
eyiyahandikireho kawe
my team, that was released on the 30th, authored by me and my team, that was released on the 30th of April 2024.
eyiyahandikire we hamwe na tiimu ye eyarekwirwe
That was released on
30th of April 2024.
ebiro 30 okwakana 2024.
Okay. So you will take us briefly to the contents of this report. You have already taken us through the first pages, which is the release, and then what is contained in this report.
The report has a table of contents. Then we have some of the terminologies that we do use in this report.
Egyo report eyine endagiriro kandi harimu n'ebigambo ebitukozesa omu report omu.
On page 1 of 48, we have the introduction.
Page 18 twine
On page 1 of 48,
one
of 48,
footage.
page emwe eya page 48
Now,
we have the introduction.
ntuhandika
And this details the requests that were received and on the date when the request was received.
ntandika okutwatandikire okuhandika report egi nkworeka okutwagitandikire n'okutwatundire kitandika.
and the date when
They were received. The requests were received or submitted on Police Form 17.
n'ebiro by'okwezi ebintu twatungire ebiro by'okwezi twatungiremu.
And there is a table there on the report which talks about the exhibit which was received and the description.
hariho endagiriro ekworeka ebintu ebi twatungire n'okubikushusha okutwabigambireho.
this which you received and
The description of the exhibit. This is data which is already available on the police form 17A, but we replicate it in our report. The exhibit.
Ebyaha police form 15A etaheza kugamba oba tukabulagamu mu reportage.
So each 17A which I was reading earlier is again the exhibits are described in the report.
Okay. So
That is table 1.
yes.
Then table 2 on page 348 for the 6th, for the exhibits received on the 6th of November.
Table ya kabiri ya page
Table 2 contains.
So table 2 contains exhibits that were received on the 6th of November 2023.
erimu ebintu ebyatundibwa ebiro by'okwezi.
My Lord, table 1 was for those exhibits received on the 3rd. Table 1, exhibits received on the 3rd of November.
Eyakabiri erimu ebintu ebitwatundire ebiro 6 okuzimira kumwe 2023.
No. Why?
And when you say table 3, what? Roman numerals?
They are Roman numerals, my Lord. So table, when I say table 1, it's in Roman numerals, capital I.
So that is one is for the received on the 3rd of
November 2023.
Then
Table 2, those who received on 6th.
On the 6th of November 2023.
Table 3.
Table 3 are the items received on the 9th of November 2023.
Eyakashatu erimu ebintu ebitwatundire ebiro by'okwezi 9 2023. 9 okuzimira kumwe 2023.
Table 4. Table 4 are exhibits received on the 10th of November 2023.
Eyakana eyina ebintu ebitwatundire ebiro 11 2023.
Table 5 are the exhibits received on 21st November 2023.
Endijo eyakataano eyina ebintu ebitwatundire ebiro by'okwezi 11 2023.
And table 6 are exhibits received on the 23rd of November 2023.
Eyamukaaga eyina ebintu ebitwatundire ebiro by'okwezi 23 2023.
Okay. So kindly take us quickly through the examination request.
The brief facts as was on 17A. The examination request is also
Yes.
the examination request is also as was detailed in the police form 17A.
Okay. So then
But we tried to abridge it and condense it because they were very repetitive.
That is contained in what?
Police form 17A.
Ebibatushabire kukebera ninka ebitwaheza kugambaho mu police form 17A.
so you try to abridge.
So we condensed all the requests into 3A, B, 3A, 3B, and 3C.
Condensed all the requests in
And 3A, 3B, and 3C of the report.
Byona tukabifunza twata omu 3A, 3D na 3C ya reportage.
Okay. Please take us quickly through the methodology that you applied.
My Lord, as earlier informed court of the methodology, each exhibit yields a specimen that will give a number. I will go through one by one.
Did you talk about them before?
Beg your pardon?
Did you talk about them?
We are talking about now the specimen numbers that you
Yes.
use.
So for exhibits marked D1 and D2, recall that these were described as blood sample of the deceased. Henry Katanga on a swab stick obtained during postmortem. That was the description.
So for instance, the one and
Yes. So we got one of the swabs because we know both of them are from the deceased. So the swab D1 is what we cut a portion of.
And go to one
Of the swabs.
that is D1.
D1, cut a portion, and this portion we labeled it specimen 682 Y23, specimen 682 Y23 S001. S001.
twabicebire kandi tubyeze namba exhibit eyabiri namba D1 na D2 eryo kayishagame twagiraho hamutundu gw'omugenzi tukaje namba gashinana n'ebiri Y abiri n'eshatu S00M.
So that's the nomenclature, and we shall continue with that. Now, my lord, the next exhibit was labeled for the exhibits labeled KH1 and KH2. KH1 and KH2. Recall and KH2. Recall that this was described as blood sample of the deceased Henry Katanga on a swab stick recovered at the scene of crime. These exhibits were not processed because they are already an alternative of exhibits T1. By their description alone, we couldn't proceed because they are an alternative of already what we have got under D1.
And these exhibits eitwayitire KH1 KH2 nayo ikayo blood sample eyitwashangira ahantiti omukishenge y'omugenzi Katanga. Ekyo tutari kikebire akuba egareza kushanka eyitwaheza kukebera D1 na D2.
My lord, next I'll run through exhibits M1, M2, M3, M1, M2, M3, M4, and K. Now, exhibit marked M1. Recall this is a swab from the left hand of Mori Katanga. The specimen we got from this exhibit, we labeled it 682 Y23.
The specimen was labeled
682 Y23 S002.
Ejeje yitwa blood sample iba tumire M1, M2, M3, M4 na K. Ejin blood national shagama ayibayire aha Madam More Katanga. Bakache namba ruka gashinana n'ebiri Y abineshatu S002.
That's for exhibit marked M1. Now for exhibits marked M2 and M3, M2 and M3 were swapped from the right hand of Mori. M2 and M3. Because these were from the same hand, we only picked one swab.
So M2 and M3 were swaps from?
Were swaps from the right hand of Mori. We picked one swab, M2, which we proceeded with to cut a piece and label the specimen 682 Y23 S003.
The specimen was?
682 Y23 Y23 S003.
Ejendijo na M2 na M3 nayo kagaha mukono ni blood sample ibiha mukono gwa buri gwa Madam More Katanga. Bakazomesho bachebera M2 bacheze namba kaga chinana n'ebiri Y abadeshatu SS eshatu.
Next.
My apologies. When you say M2 and M3, there was that statement. Because these were from the same hand.
By their description, they are swabs from the right hand of Mori.
That they are from the same hand.
Yes, my lord. The description is as well on the police form 17. Exhibit marked M4 was a buccal swab, a buccal sample from Mori.
Exhibit M4.
Yes. This is a mouth swab, buccal swab. Buccal is B-U-C-C-A. A buccal sample from Molly. We cut a piece and we labeled this specimen 682 Y23 S. We labeled it 682 Y23 S004.
Ejendijo exhibit ina na nebintu bibiro mukano kwa Madam Mole Katanga bakachebera bagenamba rukaga kinana na ibiri Y aboneshatu S00 ina.
Exhibit marked K. This is another buccal sample from Katanga, Patricia. And from this we are able to get specimen number 682 Y23 S005. Y23 S005.
Ejendijo nayo nebintu bibiro mukano ka Kwanza Patricia bakachebera babya enamba kaga kinana na ibiri Y aboneshatu S00 itano.
Next by God is exhibit marked M5. This was described earlier as a white dress with red, yellow, and black floral designs.
With what?
With red, yellow, and black floral designs. And black floral designs recovered from Mori at the hospital. We were able to identify a specimen from the collar area. And we give it specimen number 682.
What?
Yes, specimen in the collar area. And we labeled it specimen ID 682 Y23 S006.
Specimen 682
Y23 S006.
Ekindi ekitwatondere MS kikashekitaya kya white kirimu ebitukura na nebya yellow na black bakakiriha aha Madam Mole Katanga obuyabali omwirwaro bashangishaga hasitoki kyayo baje namba kaga kinana nebiri Y aboneshatu SS6 mukaaga.
I got the exhibit marked M6. Exhibit marked M6. This was a sheet with markings IHK radiology. Stained in the middle area with markings IHK.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yes.
Because it is already there.
Yes.
M6, what specimen number did you give it?
Specimen number 682 Y23 S007.
Specimen number 682
Y23 S007.
Ejendijo ekayeshuka ekayirwa ekigambo kya IHK radiology ekayinaho eshagama baje namba mukaaga kinana nebiri Y S00 mushanju.
Next is exhibit marked M7.
For M7, which number did you give it?
We gave it specimen number 682 Y23 S008.
682
Y23 S008.
Endijo bakaja endijo emushanju bakaje namba mukaaga kinana nebiri Y23 S008.
Next is exhibit marked D6.
Which specimen number did you give it?
Specimen number 682 Y23 S009.
Endijo bakaja
Y2300
endijo exhibit
009.
009, yes, my lord.
eyibayite D mukaaga bakagye namba kaga kinana n'ebiri y abiri n'eshatu s 009.
Next by road is exhibit mark D7.
Yes.
Marked D7.
D7.
Uh-huh.
Specimen labeled 682 Y23 S010. S682 Y23 S010.
Endijo kali ekibatondera ekibagira enamba b mushanju bakaca x specimen namba yacho mukaga kinana n'ebiri y abiri n'eshatu s 010.
Next was exhibit mark D8.
Yes.
This was given specimen number 682 Y23 S011.
Endijo
Sorry, 682
Right.
Y23
Yes.
S.
endijo d munana bakagye namba ya specimen mukaga kinana n'ebiri y abiri n'eshatu s 011.
Next is exhibit mark D9. Exhibit mark D9 was the specimen identified was labeled 682 Y23 S012.
Endijo bakagye
S012.
exhibit eyitutondera eyitwetire d mwenda bakagye namba specimen yayo mukaga kinana n'ebiri y abiri n'eshatu s 0 2.
As for exhibit mark 10, we gave it specimen ID 682 Y23
682 Y23
S012-1.
S
012-1.
dash.
Egi bakagyeriza enamba eyitwetire d 10 bakagyeriza enamba mukaga kinana n'ebiri y abiri n'eshatu s 0 2 dash 1.
Next is exhibit mark 9.
Marked, the last one was 8.
Yes.
One was 10.
10. Now we have exhibit
Now we have 9.
exhibit mark 9.
Marked 9. Yeah, that's okay.
Please. My lord, I hope we are together. The first one, the last one was D10, now we're going to 9.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Exhibit mark 9 was this was a blood swab, and the specimen was labeled 682 Y23 S013.
Y. 23 S. S what?
013.
Endijo ekintu ekibahira enamba mwenda bakakya specimen yakyo mukaga kinana n'ebiri y abiri n'eshatu s 0 1.
Next is exhibit marked 14. It was given specimen ID.
Marked 14.
Yes, my lord.
That was. Uh-huh.
It was given specimen ID 682 Y23 S013-1.
Endijo exhibit nakyo ekintu ekibahira enamba 14 bakakya specimen namba yakyo kubaga nebakibera mukaga kinana n'ebiri y abiri n'eshatu s 0 3 dash 1.
Next is exhibit marked 15. Exhibit marked 15 was had a specimen which was identified and labeled 682 Y23 S013-2.
Endijo 15 ekindi ekintu ekibahira enamba 15 bakakya mukaga kinana n'ebiri y abiri n'eshatu s 0 1 3 dash 2.
Still have a way to go.
And we gotta keep on.
My lord, table 7 in the report talks about the exhibit, weight, and the specimen ID, and also the result, the
That is the what?
Table 7.
Uh-huh.
So it has a total,
Talks about what?
the exhibit label, the exhibit mark or label, label,
Level.
7 is Roman numerals.
where the specimen, the specimen source and the specimen ID
Source.
and
Specimen ID. Uh-huh.
and the result of the findings from that specimen ID.
Finding.
From that specimen ID. So it has a total of 48 rows. Starts from page 17 or 48,
It has a total of
48,
rows.
and starts from page 17 of 48 to page 20 of 48.
From page 17 or 48
To page 20 of 48.
Okay. Quickly, if you could run us through the
Next, my lord, is for us to, once we get the findings, we have to interpret the findings.
next is the, what is the next? Generally, what is it?
Interpretation,
Is the interpretation of findings.
yes.
I would like to propose we start from there.
Okay, now listen, we are waiting for around 2. We shall come back in about 4 questions. Because I have to go something to do. So, we come back for 1 hour or we come back for 1 hour? So the first is in, I think, what about Katanga? Because it's strictly by force.
Why don't we start again to reconcile, begin added like that,
That's what we've always wanted. In the practice, it's not easy. You can talk about tonight, end up starting at 10 something. So let's not think that, but strictly so. Let's start at the 10. And if you want to go for the rules or whatever, which before that sort of by 10, just start. Right. So, what is that, Jan? What is that, Jan? What is that, Jan? Focus. I stayed.
omushangwaruza cyangwa omukotsi ebiro 28 okwezi shaha ina
When we made extended. For the rest of the okay, please.
Because where I was stopping at the cinema, where I was stopping on. Where I was stopping. Stopping, where I was stopping. What did I do?